Okay, all right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to today's episode of Youth Spotlight. If you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Olamara Success Wise. I am the corporate sales executive at Jamie Padwell International and also the founder of OSN Global Services Limited, a digital marketing company that provides sales, visibility, and growth solutions to online business owners. And like we already know what we do here on Youth Spotlight, right? We bring on young persons who are doing amazing things in their industries and have them share their stories of how they started, how the journey has been for them, and the plans they have for themselves. Like several years from now, the last time we had two young men share this same story with us, and today we are bringing two distinguished people in the business and entrepreneurship field, Mr. Praise Ohanwe and Abu David. Let's see if we have people here with us already. Please, if you can hear me, let me know your name and where you are joining us from in the comment section. Okay. Our guests are ready to have us to teach us today. And I want them to see how ready we are for them as well. So please let me know your name and where you are joining us from today. Please comment your name and where you are joining us from. So we'll acknowledge your presence and then move ahead. And like we do it already, right? Tag at least 10 people in the comment section. Tag at least 10 people in the comment section. Here at Jamie Padwell University, we don't learn alone, we learn together. And like I would always say, you can never tell who is watching, right? I've had numerous people tell me that their lives were transformed and they gained better clarity from what we shared here on Youth Spotlights, right? And it was just someone that tagged them. They did not even know that Jimmy Padre University existed before. Maybe a friend of theirs tagged them, shared the post on their timeline. They joined, got value, and they join us every single episode. So please let me know your name and where you are joining us from, and also tag people, tag at least 10 of your friends in the comment section. Let them know that we've started, okay? And we're ready to have Mr. Praise and Mr. David. I want to see your comments, guys. Our guests are ready to speak to us. Let's see how ready you are. The comments are not yet popping up yet. Okay, while you are telling us your name and where you are joining us from, let's introduce our first guest, Mr. Abu David. Mr. Abu David is a personal and corporate leadership coach, a professional public speaker, as well as the author of the book I Am. He is the organizer of the event Leaders Hangout and the Upscale Conference. As an entrepreneur, he went ahead to found a startup leadership academy called the We Lead Academy and Consultancy to build a factory producing leaders in all spheres. He is currently building the next generation e-commerce 2.0 as he is set to launch a social marketing platform soon. So let's welcome as our guest, our very first guest, Mr. Abu David. I'm adding him to the stage now.
Hi. Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Mr. David, and thank you so much for joining our invitation to be a guest.
It's a pleasure. It's beautiful and an honor being on this platform this afternoon.
Okay, then thank you very much. Now we are going to be having our second guest, Mr. Praise Ohanwe. Mr. Praise Ohanwe is a multiple award-winning social media strategist and digital trainer. He is the best-selling author of 6 books, including Content Creation for Online Profits and Digital Products Mastery, a printed book that teaches experts how to establish alternative income streams via digital products. Trained by Google as a certified digital marketing expert, he works with his clients to create practical product launch and marketing strategies, thereby increasing their visibility and profits online. Through his physical and virtual events, courses, and books, he has equipped over 14,000 online business owners and brands, wow, with the skills, tools, and strategies needed for massive visibility and profits online. And he has received countless testimonials in this regard. I am personally excited to hear from Mr. Praise, and I don't know how excited you are about this too. So I'm going to bring him on stage now. I'm bringing him on stage now. Okay, he's here. Thank you so much, Praise Ohanwe, for honoring our invitation today.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, success. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Good
can hear you.
afternoon. Okay. So sorry, something is going on here. I Something is going on at my end. I have to connect with 2 devices. The device in front of me, I cannot hear you from it. I'm hearing you from this one. So there is a little lag in seconds. That's why. But yeah, That said, I'm glad to be here. Good afternoon. And thank you. Yes, thank you for pronouncing my surname very well. Thank you very much.
Of course. Of course. And you look amazing, by the way, Chris. I must comment. You look spectacular.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I just had this compliment now.
Okay, that's so we are going to get started immediately, right? And we are starting with you, Mr. David. I've read your bio, but I intentionally did not read out every single thing. So I would still like you to tell me about yourself so I would know how to follow the questions. So kindly tell us about yourself.
Okay. Okay. I believe you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, beautiful. Like I said, it's an honor being in this platform this afternoon. So I'm simply Abu David. So Abu David to me is like a brand name. So in the right order, it should be David Abu. But I just felt like Abu David goes, it works so cool. It's easy to pronounce Abu David, and then it's like, so I do go by the name Abu David, and I think in the different shades that I could say I am, I'm a public speaker because I so much believe in public speaking. I so much believe in impact, but I'm more of the vocal person. So I'm 100% a public speaker, and I'm also a techpreneur. Currently, we are building marketplace. Marketplace is actually the mindset we have towards marketplace is we are building Africa's first fully integrated social commerce. So we studied some structures in Asia, and we've seen that social commerce is a thing over there. But here in Africa, we just do not know about. We only know about Jumia, we know about Conga, and these are just basic e-commerce. So we are working on that project. Our wait list is live already, but we'll be releasing it officially next month or during my conference. And I think that's the second part of me. And then I would say that the third part of me is just a very jovial person, actually. Like, I know this does not get to show online, but I'm just this guy who always loves to have fun and probably live a private life. And then people do not know that still the same Abu David we see online, that is this self-comforted person, is this nosy guy out there. So I think that those are just three shades of me.
So you are into public speaking and then you are
Yeah.
building an e-commerce platform.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Praise? Tell us about yourself.
Okay, thank you so much once again, Success, for having me here. I'm so glad to be on the JPI platform. Like, I think my groom price is officially going to increase after this. But yeah, so in summary, my name is Praise Ohanwe. And many things, but I'm going to summarize what I do as being a digital profit coach. So in summary, I teach experts and business owners how to build profitable online businesses around their skills, around their expertise, around their knowledge. And how do they do these things? They do this by creating and launching profitable digital products and applying marketing strategies that work in their business. So this is just an abridged version of everything I do. So the courses, the coaching programs, the books, the events, the virtual webinars, every single thing I do just ties back to that simple one sentence. And yes,
No.
I'm an author of 6 books. So I guess that's just about summarizes everything.
That's
All right,
beautiful.
Praise, how did you get here, right? How did you find this clarity? Like, how did you discover that this is what you are meant to do? You're muted.
Okay, sorry, I did say that there was a little lag in my devices. So that's
Yeah.
why there is this few seconds difference. So what happens is how I got to this point. I got to this point by trying and what do they call it? Trial and error, right? Trying different things. The first incarnation of me online was in 2019, and I was a fiction writer at the time. So I used to write stories, I used to write flash fiction. In fact, my account, the social media account that I had to delete, it had a lot of flash fiction there, it had a lot of poetry there. So I was just expressing myself there writing. And yes, I was getting a lot of traction. A lot of traction. People were liking my posts, sharing my posts, hyping me, but I was broke. No offense. So what happened was after a period of writing and gathering an audience online, I said, let me try and launch something. Because at the time, I also had a full-time job. So I said, let me launch something.
Okay. David, can you hear me? Praise, can you hear me? I don't know what happened.
Yes, I
Everyone.
can.
Okay, Praise. So
Yeah.
sorry about that. You can continue, please.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, sorry. I thought it was a meeting. Okay, so as I was saying, I had started gathering an audience. Yes, so that's exactly where I was. I started gathering an audience, and then I said, let me launch something. So I sat down and I wrote one very long fiction book. I can't forget. It was a very long. In fact, there was a part of it that was fiction, and then there was a part of it that was a collection of the poetry I had written. And when I launched it, I had crickets, complete crickets. Nobody bought a freaking copy of that thing. So I was like, man, what am I doing here? So I had to sit back. I took a break at that point because a time comes when you just need to have very honest conversations with yourself. And I was like, yeah, I want to grow a brand. I want to make money, but I'm not Chimamanda Adichie. I may not be able to profit from fiction writing. So I had to resent her immediately. So I already had skills as a writer. I was already writing, I was already speaking, I was already communicating properly. So I figured since I already knew how to write, why not take that writing into another, what's it called now, into another niche that could pay me. So I settled down to learn content writing at the time. So after learning content writing, I started throwing myself out here and there. And by God's grace, I'm just giving you a brief version of the entire story. By God's grace, I was able to start getting clients. So I started getting paid to write for people, clients, companies within and outside Nigeria. So it was an interesting period at that time. But at the time that I was doing this, I also started putting out content online about content writing and social media strategy. And so many people started reaching out to me asking questions like, okay, yes, content writing. How do I grow my business with this? Now, this was in 2020 when there was a craze for content writing online. I don't know if you can remember. Everybody that
Yeah.
could write one paragraph then was a content writer. So I didn't have the energy to come and be dragging space with anybody. So I had to go back again and go and relearn. So instead of just writing, I had to figure out how to sell with what I had written. So that was what gave rise to a phase of my career where I was teaching content writing for sales, content writing for business growth, content writing for brand visibility. And so I came in again and it was like, oh, thank God, I just found my space. So I started teaching how to sell with content. So I created a couple of products, digital products, physical classes, as a matter of fact, where I was teaching these things. So that is the longer short of everything. And then when I delved into that, I discovered that it was more profitable. So I could make more money. I could help people hit their goals. I was like, oh, hallelujah. Fast forward to 2023, and here we are.
All right. That's very, very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. How about you, David? How did you discover that public speaking and e-commerce is something that you want to do or that you are meant to do?
Okay, so I would say for me, I won't really say it was really that finite for me. So public speaking has been that thing that, like, if you had told me that I would be a public speaker, I would have like, you're lying, because I was always a shy person. I was always this timid guy. So anything that has to do with public, it was always against me. But I was a talkative. So it was kind of two things. That I was a talkative, but I didn't like facing the public. So when I was with my friends, so for example, my teachers in school then, they would say, "Oh, Abu is a very quiet boy," because of the way whenever I'm in public, I'm always. And then when
like I'm just with my guys, and then I can actually bring the roof down. So I can remember a day when like something went wrong in school, and they were like those who were making noise, and then they got me out. And teacher was like, "This guy, no, 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 he's always as good as well." So I wasn't really the public speaker guy even from the early beginning, but I was just doing it in church. So during special programs, I would come up. Then it was motivational talks. That was when you're in public speaking, it's just motivational talks to me. So then I was like, I'm a motivational speaker. So I would just come up in church during Thanksgiving. I would do something. They would pay me money. I'll be like, are you really do much? But I'll just, and then so I think it was around 2019, 2020 where I started being intentional about it. I was like, okay, I went into prayer because I'm a believer and I believe in also, inquiring from God. So I went into prayer and I got some clarity. And it was like, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put smiles on people's face and Jesus on people's heart. And then a lot of clarity came as a result of that. And then I was able to break it down into personal leadership. I was like, okay, this is the main thing that I will be doing for the main time. And just like Mr. Play's story, so I was using, for example, I would work, I would make money, I would use the money to host a free program. And I was not the online guy actually. I was doing physical. So I would host physical programs, but I love free things. I don't know why. So I would host free programs, I would go broke after hosting these programs. I would save up a little again, host another free program, go broke again. I was like, no, this thing cannot continue to happen this way. Because I was making money to host free programs. And then these people, after the program, they say, God bless you. You changed my life, you blessed my life, and we will go. And then this is me who is just saying, I'm back to square one. So it was kind of like a repeated process all along. And then I've always been this person who loves research, and I have interest in tech because anything hand works, like anything that I have to do with me doing it by myself, it's not my thing. So I believe I am more of an intellectual person. So I've always been in tech for a long while, but like I said, I can't do the work myself. So right from 2020, I've been coming up with a series of ideas. So I've been building ideation companies, just have them on my notepad. And then it was around late last November where we started so I went through my list. So there's certain criteria we go through. It's okay, you have these products. There are certain products that will scale, but will it be profitable? Because so I look at myself, okay, I might not have all the money in the world, right? I might not have all the investors in the world. So which startup amongst this list of startups that I can build, and whilst I'm building, I could monetize easily and reinvest back into the business. So that was what brought out the e-commerce part of it. So it wasn't like it was one of many ideas that we had to select from. So the question came back, if we are building an e-commerce, so we have e-commerces, right? We have Jumia, we have Konga, we have OLX, we have all of these guys. So why would everybody leave these guys and then come to what we are building? So I think that was why I started doing more brainstorming, more research, and that was why we decided to verge into the social commerce space. So I believe that the social commerce is like the future of e-commerce. Certain things have proven them right. Social media has. I believe that social media has changed the way we see things, the way we trust, the way we perception. Social media has changed all of these things. And social media is it's now part of our life. So why not just integrate commerce into social media so that it doesn't feel like buying, it doesn't feel like selling. It's just like the normal day life. So that was what we find the ideology. To say, okay, why not create something that connects with buyers and sellers, their experience and their emotion? But I understand that that's not a good business model, right? Because investors will tell you people will not just pay for experience. You need to create something that solves real problem. So part of the things we're looking at, the name is called marketplace, and part of the things we're looking at is solving the issue of trust, the issue of what I ordered versus what I got. So that's why our tagline is what you order is what you get. That's our tagline at Marketplace. And by the grace of God, by December, we'll be launching out the testing phase. I believe that people will be able to sell out. Thank you. So people will be able to sell out e-commerce, e-courses and physical products. But we're going to start with the e-courses because it's easier to moderate. Like we said, we are trying to be very strict about how we get people on board so that trust remains our number one factor. So I think that's so I would say I'm in tech not because of a passion. I would say I'm in tech because I literally want to change the world, and I believe that you can't change the world without money. Right? So I'm there speaking for business, and I feel this is the business I have this desire for. But in as much as I'm in tech, definitely you have to love what you do. So I believe that it's easier for you to love what you do than just making money from what you love. Because sometimes I really want to impact people through public speaking. But sometimes I don't really feel the need to want to monetize because part of the clarity I got was that the people I've been called for, majority of them will not be able to afford me. So it definitely has to be in a way like so. I just felt like why not just venture into business full time, and then you could now focus on let's say this is CS out from your end. So that's
Yeah.
just basically how I was able to merge both tech and public speaking.
I was actually going to ask you how you monetize public speaking, right? Because there are a lot of young persons that are good at that, but then they don't even know how to monetize it. But
Yeah.
before we get to that, I want you to clarify
Okay.
something for me, right? So you are using some kind of complex terms to me, right? And for our
Okay.
audience, when you say social commerce, what do you mean? Like break it down so
Okay.
everyone
Okay,
understand.
okay. Thank you for that. I was supposed to do that. So social commerce, the concept was actually generated from two terms, social media and e-commerce. So when you merge them together, it's social commerce. So
Yeah.
what we are doing is how can we create something that looks something that is actually social media and it's also e-commerce, but it's not like it's social media trying to be e-commerce or e-commerce trying to be social media. It is on the same level. So we are trying to create something that is so like for example, in marketplace, what we are trying to say is if you come to Facebook to connect with the world, you go to TikTok to gain visibility, you go to LinkedIn to connect to corporate opportunities. So you come
Yeah.
to marketplace just to sell. So sometimes even when you feel like playing on marketplace, you're actually playing to sell something. So we are not saying that you're not selling conventionally. It's just like everything you would see in a social media site. You're actually coming there to do things out of like just like it's your normal day thing. You're not trying to be selling has been there's this cliche about selling where um we observe that people generate leads on social media and close it on their e-commerce. So why not just generate on marketplace and close it on marketplace? So it is possible to merge both together. So that's the concept behind it. It's a lot actually, but also because you are yet to fully launch, there are certain things that I wouldn't want to just spill out to the public, definitely for now.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. Like now I understand it so much better, and I think I have an idea of what you are trying to do. Something that
Oh, beautiful.
if successful is going to be a really amazing project. Like this thing you said now, generating leads on marketplace and also closing them on marketplace is something that a
Closing
lot
the
of people
marketplace.
would want to
Yeah.
get their hands on. So, okay, it's starting to be a very interesting conversation. We have people here with us
Yeah.
now. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining. I'm so happy whenever I see your name when we are doing this live. Seriously, you are so and I must appreciate you for that. So thank you, Stephanie, for joining. Good afternoon to you too. And I hope you are doing amazing today. And wow, you're already tagging people. It's what happens when you know how we do it here, right? Welcome, Bethel. Thank you so much for joining. Bethel was one of our very first guests with Choma Nana, and that day he blew our minds. So it's such a pleasure to see him commenting here today. Okay, he said, okay, yeah, again, welcome. Thank you, Bethel. Welcome, Macy. Thank you for joining. Miracle, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So, you know how we do it here, right? We've already started. Praise and David are going to be sharing their stories, and they have already started. So, please tag people, tag at least 10 of your friends, share this live so it comes up on your timeline and you have your audience join. Like I say, you can never tell who you are helping when you share this live, okay? There are a lot of people who are looking for clarity. Just something Praise mentions here or something David mentions here can change the life of someone that you don't even know. So please click on the share button right now and share this video and tag at least 10 people to come and watch this session with us today. So please, Bethel, tag, Stephanie, keep tagging, Macy, tag people, Miracle, tag people, Israel, Efe, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, tag people to join us here, all right? Now, the next question still goes to you, David. What challenges do you face, yeah, in building this business of yours, and how are you able to navigate them?
Okay, so this is a very complex topic, a very complex question actually, but I'll try to summarize. So
Yeah, you
we all
can
know what
go
it takes to build.
two or three challenges.
Okay, so I think number one has to do with investment, because in the tech industry, one of the things, there's what we call the early benefactors. So there were those who came into the tech ecosystem as early as the from 2010 to 2020. Those guys, they got investment on the platter of gold. In fact, because the competitions were not much then, and then for those of us who are coming in after this period, it is not the same story. So you need to now start asking yourself, how can you bootstrap your startup? How can you save up to invest yourself? Build to the point that you have evidence, like Bonner Boy. So you don't have to explain to investors, right? So investment is one of the key issues because even in the global world, they are experiencing inflation at a peak. So, and in a period of inflation, people withhold the way they spend. So there's no investment anywhere. It takes grace, it takes God, and it takes connections. And then there are some of us who did not come from this big part of, like, who did not come from rich backgrounds, who our parents are not well connected. Definitely, we have to build with what we have. So I think investment was one of the key issues. And number two, having the right team. I think one of the things about having the right team that I've learned is your ability to foster trust. So I think this is the first time I'll be saying this publicly. As of June, we've already built marketplace. Like, we have our products, we did reviews and everything. And then I was partnering with my co-founder in Ghana to build this. And what happened was, once we did the testing and everything, the guy, because he was a technical guy, he locked me out of the system and then started demanding $3,000. So you could imagine. And then the mistake I made was, as a first-time founder, of course, was that there was no agreement. So we did based on, oh, I know him, he knows me, he's good, I'm good, I have the vision, he knows how to put the vision into practical products, and then we got to work. We didn't sign any document. We didn't, so it was like my word for his word, right? He actually denied, so I had to start all over again. I had to pay someone over here in Nigeria, and I had to make sure that before one single money was paid, we had to sign. Like, that was the first thing we did. We made sure we signed. So I think building the right team matters, and I think for those who will be starting businesses, as easy as an employee contract would go a long way. It would go a very long way that you would not even, like, you would come to thank me after for. And the thing is, sometimes if you don't do the research about these things, you would think they are too expensive. So, for example, when I did my software development agreement, like I did when I wanted to redo again, I paid just 20,000 naira. And this was me thinking that I would have to pay like 250,000 to do it in the first place. So if I had made some basic research before, it wouldn't have happened, because 20,000 wasn't like a big deal for me to pay to get that thing. But I felt like, oh, it was something big. But when I learned through experience and the hard way, I went into it, I was like, this is even the cost. It's not even much. So I think we need to invest much in building legality around our businesses and our startups. Even if you're working with a team of 5, get some basic things up ahead. Basic things like, I think even when it comes to branding, you have to get a business name. I think that's the most basic thing to get. As easy as it is as even getting a corporate account, these are basic things that I think businesses should get. I think this was the most recent one I had. I'm planning my conference next month in 4th of November. And then, so we reached out to an organization for advertisement space on the platform. And then we sealed the deal and everything. And then I sent my account number to them because it was the first edition and we've not created enough structures for it to, because it's the first. And then the company rejected outrightly. They were like, give us a corporate account. I was like, this is a conference. So, so I have to quickly go back. Thank God for Street Sense. I have to go back to Money Points, open a Money Points corporate account, then use my DPN and then send to them. So I think investors will not just bring money. There's no free money anywhere. So there are basic things like structures, legality, and then basic brandings that business owners should get. And I think if you get the aspect of investment, the right team, and then legality around these things, it will really go a long way. And it will help you shield against future circumstances in the future.
Wow. I'm learning a whole lot from you. And I'm so glad that we finally have a tech guy on this show. Like, seriously, I'm learning we finally have a tech guy on this show, right? Thank you so much. If you are just joining us now, make sure that you go back watch the replay later, so you get everything Mr. David has shared. It will help you if you want to go into tech, and not just going into tech. If you want to like solidify your business online, you need all of these things he mentioned. Okay, now Praise, please tell us, right? Could you take us through the process? Let's say a customer comes to you and they want you to help them grow their businesses or maybe make sales online. Could you take us through the process that you take them through to help them achieve that result? Do you understand the question? Do you understand the question?
Yeah, I do. Okay. So thank you very much, Mr. David. Your session was amazing. I've learned quite a lot. So here's the thing. When someone comes to me, I want to make sales, I want to grow my business, I want to make money, I tell them to hold on first, drink water and relax. That's the first step. Because the thing is, many people come and they think they know what they want, but they don't even know what they want. And as a teacher, you have already started failing if you don't help your students understand what they want first. So people come to me all excited. Oh, since I started my online business, I've not sold anything. Hey, this one is happening. The world is. Let them calm down, calm down. So we usually start with a clarity conversation. This is what I do, especially with my top clients, who that I consult with one-on-one. We usually start with a clarity session. So what are we doing on that clarity session? I want to understand your goals. I want to understand your business. I want to understand where you are right now and where you want to get to. And I want to understand if we are a perfect match. Because my job as a coach requires that I interact with you most times over an extended period of time. So I need to be sure that temperament-wise, we're a match. I need to be sure that competency and skill-wise, we are a match. Because there are some people that I cannot work with one-on-one. For example, people that are completely at ground zero. Like, do you know how to run Facebook ads? No. Do you know how to set up a Facebook page? No. Do you know how to do Canva design? No. Like people that are ground zero, I usually tell them, okay, go and get so and so skills. When you have these, come back so that I have something to work with. So what am I doing? I'm priming the would-be clients, I'm priming the would-be customers to ensure that it's not when we start now, I either drag you on TikTok or you drag me on Facebook. I don't have that energy. So let's make sure that we're on the same page from the beginning, right? Now that we are done with the clarity session, the next thing that we do is to set very clear goals. So after the period of 4 weeks, for example, let's say you're in my signature monetized program. Now, the monetized program is something that I don't talk about physically. I don't talk about it a lot because it is reserved for my back-end clients. And it's something that I take my top clients to, people that are already career professionals that are experts in their niches, but want to create knowledge products and leverage the internet to sell. So we start by setting very clear goals. After the period of 4, 6, 8 weeks, as the case may be, what exactly do you want to achieve? Because I know that it's one thing to say, okay, I want to blow online, but that's motivational speech. It's not a goal. I'm not forgetting what I'm saying. I want to blow online. Define blow. Do you mean I want to make so and so amount of money? Do you mean I want to get so and so amount of followers on my page? So we start by setting those very clear goals. Now, after those goals, we now break it down into KPIs. So let's say we're working on a 4-week project. By week 1, so and so thing should have happened for you. You should have been able to deliver so and so thing. So let's say that your overall goal was to grow your social media account, add like another 2,000 followers. That's just a basic level in 30 days. Okay, KPI 1 could be after week 1, you should have at least 200 extra followers.
Yeah.
We are not at 1,000, but it's a sign that we are moving in the right direction, right? So we set these things down and we break it out depending on the duration of the program you're going for. And then we begin to execute. Now, one of the things that I usually do with my clients when they come to me is we have, just like Mr. David said, we have very, very clear cuts, what's it called now? MO, right? Of how our project is going, of how our consulting session is going to be. So let's say a client comes and says, I want to work with you for 4 weeks. That's fine. In 4 weeks, this is what you're entitled to. This is me carefully explaining to you what to expect. What's this called? It's called expectation management. So you don't think that because you paid me for 4 weeks, you have unlimited access to me for 4 weeks. that you can call me by 1 a.m. in the morning when I'm sleeping, praying, or doing something in my life and start asking questions. So we have very clearly spelled out terms of engagement. So yes, we have a 4-week program, but so and so time to so and so time on this day and this day is your session. It's dedicated to you. Because apart from every other thing I'm doing online, I have an offline job. I have an entire life offline, right? So it's not like we are living online. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. So this is called expectation management. We clearly spell it out. It helps all of us be on the same page, right? And how did I know to adapt this thing? It's my coach that taught me this, Coach Enosam. This was last year when I was writing my 6th book, Digital Products Mastery. I don't know what we were talking about that day. And she told me something that struck me. She says, whatever you permit will continue.
Yeah.
Even as you interact with your high-end clients. And let me give you a case in point where this thing helped me. So fast forward to a few months later, this year I onboarded a client, a man, right? A high-end client. He says he wanted to achieve so and so in his business. We agreed. Work started, right? It was a 1-month engagement. Along the line, he suddenly stopped showing up for our sessions. We had already predefined when we were going to be having sessions, right? So we were supposed to have 2 sessions per week. The first session that week, he did not show up. He did not give me any excuse. The second session that week, he did not show up. He didn't give me any excuse. So I was like, should I let this slide? Nah, I'm not going to let this slide. So what did I do? Let me not say, I don't want to use the P word, so it wouldn't be like I flogged him, but I called him back after a while and I was like, we had a quick conversation and I told him that, okay, yes, I now understand what was going on, why you couldn't show up. But as a result of your not showing up and not telling me ahead of time, I've had to shelve those 2 weeks. We had to remove those 2 weeks from his program. And what was the result of this? He never missed one session again until we are done. So I learned practically from my coach that whatever you permit will continue. So when I interact with my students, for example, people that come and buy my courses, I can sell a course and like 200 people sign up, and I'm doing the course, okay, fine. One of the first things I tell them when we are joining is, for example, I have a course that I'm selling right now, currently marketing right now. It's a group coaching program. As you enter the course and you watch the onboarding video, one of the things I said is that this is a group coaching program. Because I know that Nigerians, we are a lovely group of people. If you don't clearly spell out these boundaries, people will leave that group and start disturbing my DM. And I don't want that. So I clearly tell them in the onboarding videos, what am I telling you guys? It's all about expectation management, right? So you know where your boundaries start, you know where your boundaries stop. Now, it doesn't mean that as the coach, you're going to be harsh. As the trainer, you're going to be harsh. No, you're going to be polite, you're going to be civil, you're going to be warm, but firm. There is a difference between warmness and firmness. 2 of them can go together. Those that know me know very well. I'm a very playful person. I'm a very lovely person. But this, you don't do it like this around it. Okay, so we move on. We begin to track your progress and we work. So I have a 4-step process that I usually take my clients through, people that want to create digital product and sell. It's a 4-step predictable process that I have used to launch all my products. It works. So in summary, what it is that we come up with the perfect idea for your whatever, depending on what you're launching and your area of expertise. We verify the idea by doing a couple of things that I'll walk you through in the program. Then we begin to market it, because it's not me and you that will be a part of a product that you have suffered to create that you could not sell because you did not market before you started selling, right? So we start by marketing. And when we have done and gotten a reasonable amount of, or what's it called now? A reasonable amount of money or returns on the investment put, because marketing is an investment, right? We can then go ahead to create the product. So that's an abridged version of that. And usually it does well, right? My clients have been able to get amazing results from that. So I guess that's a summary of the question you asked me. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. That's mind blowing. Like a mind blown. That's so impressive. It just shows super clear cut clarity that Praise knows what he's doing. Wow, that's please go and watch the replay of this thing. Like the 2 guys we brought today are not even joking. They came very, very loaded. Make sure that you don't miss 1 minute. Like each word is powerful. Each word is powerful. So make sure that you go back and watch the replay after this, right? Watch it over and over again until you've grasped just this step now. Praise shared is like everything. It can be like a whole masterclass on how you can handle your clients. So please, thank you so much, the both of you, for coming again. And with that, we are going to continue, right? Thank you, Stephanie, for being very active in the comment section. Thank you to Bethel as well. Please keep tagging your friends, keep mentioning people. As you can see, what we are doing here is very impactful. It's not a child's play. All right, please share with us what challenges have you encountered in growing your business and how are you able to overcome them? You can mention like 2 or 3.
Okay, the challenges I encountered when starting my business, right? Even up till now, well, but mostly when I started was, first of all, transitioning, right? So when I say transitioning, let me explain. I started, for those that have heard me share my story, or at least a little part of my story, I started with, I had a 9 to 5. It was not even a 9 to 5. That thing was more than a 9 to 5. It was worse than a 9 to 5. So I used to work every day, 14 hours every day out of 24 hours. And I used to work 7 days a week. So it was Sunday to Sunday. Sometimes I would never see my house in a week because I'm going from work to somewhere else and I'm going back to work. So it was not easy, right? And I had this online business to build because I wanted to resign. If you saw me then, I look like God forbid, but thank God. Anyway, what happened was transitioning was one of the first challenges that I experienced. How? Because I had this job that was giving me steady money. And then you're telling me to leave that job to go and do something that I'm not sure if it's going to work out well. There was a lot of uncertainty there. But at some point, you just have to make up your mind. So what helped me then was I was watching a video. I really cannot remember who was speaking, either Mrs. Ibukuna Washika or Mrs. Olajumoke Adenon, who's an architect, one of them. And they were talking about the opportunity cost of life. And she said, for every choice you make, you have lost another choice that you could have made.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I had to sit down and analyze that thing. So I was like, okay, let's say I continue this job the way it is. 2 things can happen. In the next 1 year, they might promote me or I'll drop dead. And option 2 was looking like it was what was most likely going to happen because I was already ported to ending it. So what happened was I had to just sit down and just tell myself the truth. It's best for me to carefully start withdrawing, right, over time and then focus my attention. But please note, I didn't just wake up and go and submit a resignation letter. So I'm putting this out there for maybe those of you that want to transition, you're moving between having a full-time job and doing your own stuff. Don't just roll out of bed and go and resign. I will not be there to send you palliatives at my house. Sorry. So you need a plan, right? So I had a 6-month plan, if I'm not wrong, to exit that job. I knew I wanted to leave in May of 2020. I can't forget it was May of 2020 because that was when COVID was at its peak. I knew I wanted to leave in the May of 2020. So I started working my exit plan from, I think, November of the previous year, right? So what was I doing? That was when I actively learned how to do content writing at a commercial level, right? That was when I actively started learning how to handle clients, how to pitch myself, how to make money. So at that point, what I was doing first was to just get clients here and there first. I needed to be able to gather a reasonable amount of money every single month, so that even when I left my job, I wasn't going to go and suffer, like moving from grass to grass. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. So for the next 6 months, I was working on building my client base. I was working on learning how this thing works. I was working on understanding the business of content, right? I was working on improving my own work. So when I had a significant amount of clients, I was now able to go to work one day, submit my resignation letter. Anybody that saw me that day will say that this boy woke up the previous night and resigned the next day. But what I'm putting some context now, I already started my exit plan 6 months ago, right? So that was the first challenge I had, transition, because in that period of I wasn't here, it wasn't really very easy. The second challenge I had was personal development, because let's face it, personal development is not comfortable. It's not sweet. I would rather lie down and watch one comedy show than to sit down and watch that course that I paid for, no matter how much I paid for it.
Yeah.
My line is a normal thing. So personal development, right? And this is why it is easier for comedians to just come online and blow than for people that are teaching sense
Yeah.
to blow that fast. Because it is something that you naturally want to do. Your body likes it, right? So that was the challenge I had at the point. I knew I had all these courses I had paid for. I needed to go through them, but I was just telling myself, calm down, calm down, calm down. I'll come back to it one day, one day. That was how one day was entering months and months and months. So how did I go over this? It just came to a point where I had to sit down and tell myself the truth. Sir, this work, and it's a mantra that I use till today for myself. I will say it here. Somebody please type it for me in the comment section and take it home. The work you have to do will not do itself. It's something I say to myself every day. The work you have to do will not do itself. The proposal I have to send today will not send itself. The slides I have to deliver today will not deliver. The training I have to do today will not train itself.
Yeah.
It was something that I had to intentionally teach myself to do over time. And yeah, that's it. The next challenge I had was the challenge of selling. When I started, I found it very difficult to put a price on what I knew. I was doing very well. I was doing very good. People were taking what I was teaching them and getting results for themselves, right?
Yeah.
But I found it very difficult to put a price on my knowledge. I found it very difficult to put a price on my knowledge. What did I do? I had to go back and work on my mindset because I learned that it was a reflection of something that was going on inside me, not necessarily in the market. So what was the mindset work that I did? Yeah, I'm teaching you something, but hello, I deserve to get paid for it. There was a verse of scripture that helped me. Sorry for those that are not really scripture people, but for me, let me just quote it. It says, the husbandman is a partaker of the first fruits. In my case, I'm the husbandman. It's me that's teaching you. My first fruit is my money, sir. So I will have to do what? I got comfortable asking people to pay me.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I'm overly money conscious, but it just helped me get comfortable with asking people to pay me. There are many of them, but yeah.
Wow, amazing. I'm really learning a whole lot, like having a lot of mindset stuff myself. Okay, I was going to ask Mr. David the next question, but I think he will join us back shortly. Do you have any mistakes to share with us? Like mistakes that you've made and what we can learn from them?
You say, do I have? I have many mistakes to share with us. Number one, now I'm going to share mistakes with respect to the work that I do, right? And I'm going to be talking mostly to those that are creators, like you want to create digital products, create services, create all these things and basically just sell them online. The first mistake that you don't want to make is skipping the building process to go and start selling. Let me piggyback on one of the first things I told you. When we started, I said, when I start working with a client one-on-one, I help them manage their expectations. And this is something that I have noticed over time. Many people see the online space like a genie that has a wand that will just give you money just because you open a Facebook or a TikTok account. In fact, the new one that's flying now is that TikTok is paying people. Is it the same TikTok that I'm on? Maybe a different TikTok. But so don't skip the building process. When I say building, what are you building? You need to build a brand. You need to build your expertise. You need to build your skill set. You need to build your sales skills. There is, in fact, I created something called the 3-layered skill acquisition palette when I was starting out. We can't go into that, but it's a combination of the 3 skills that every creator needs when they want to start building their brand online, right? There's one that is your core skill, your complementary skill, and your sales skills. We can't go into that now, but you can't skip the building process. That's the first mistake you don't want to make. Number 2, another mistake in fact, it was something I did that I would really not recommend people do now and when they're starting is rushing to start a brand. This kind of goes against everything that you might have heard, but let me explain. So we are quickly, I don't know, there is some kind of, I'm trying to pick my words carefully, but there is this obsession with having founder under our names. Oh, my name is Praise Ohanwe, founder, the brilliant marketing consultant, brilliant marketing consultation group, founder this, founder that. Calm down, sir. In 2020, I rushed to founder 2 brands, and all of them were founded under. Know what I mean, right? But what happened was I was skipping my own personal brand building process. So what I teach people now is, yes, start your online journey. Yes, start growing your brand, but it does not have to be a corporate brand.
Yeah.
Part of the reasons why our senior uncle, I love this man so much, Tony Lumelu, is very successful is because he has invested quality time and quality resources in building his personal brand as Tony Lumelu. So he can wake up tomorrow and start a hospital and will not ask questions. Just because this hospital is owned by Tony Lumelu, we don't want to know if he's a doctor or not. We're going to go and look for him there. He can wake up tomorrow and start maybe a charity organization, right? Just because it carries his name. We trust him as a person, and so we know that anything he starts is going to be worthwhile. So yes, you're going to go ahead to build your businesses and your brands later, but personal branding, sir, ma, is going to reduce your cost of corporate advertisement when the time comes. So don't just be in a hurry to go and say, oh, I'm the founder of this, I'm the founder of that. Your personal brand is struggling, the corporate brand is struggling, none of them are going. Invest quality time in building your own personal brand, okay? I'm just going to hang it off there. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Wow. That's beautiful.
Someone says true in the comment section. Of course, it's very true. It's more than true. Don't go to answer founder when your own personal brand is struggling to breathe. Okay, Mr. David, please tell us about public speaking, right? I want you to tell us more about public speaking. How are you able to monetize it?
Okay, I would really say public speaking is one of like the most golden apple, if there's a term like that we have in this dispensation. Because like the popular research will say that people prefer to go 6 feet on the ground than to stand before an audience to speak. And if this is the case, it means that if you understand the art of public speaking, it puts you on an advantage. I think part of the things that have helped me in my little time as a founder, pitch to some investor, is the skill of public speaking. So one of the things I tell people is that public speaking is not everything, but public speaking is needed in everything. Like, so someone draws my attention to something. Why do you think Mark Zuckerberg is a billionaire? But why would you think that he wanted to do Meta Connect, which was where his company announces the new product? And then Mark was the one himself. Everybody knows Mark to be the shy guy. Everybody knows Mark to be the more reserved guy. But Mark was the one, the Mark of before would give someone else to do it. But recently, Mark is now the one coming out to launch these things. And where I saw his presentation, you would know that he has learned the art of public speaking. So part of the things I tell people is that public speaking can work in everything, and public speaking in anything is an advantage. So how do you monetize public speaking? I think it will boil down to also what Mr. Praise said about building your brand. Because the truth is that people will not just pay you to come and speak, because literally they can hear what you have to speak on YouTube. Like largely they can choose to just choose that uncle in their compound or choose that brother in their church to come talk on this thing. But why would they call you to come and speak? It's because you have a brand. And that is why, if you observe, a lot of folks online currently that have large followings, they get a lot of invitation. And then I literally see someone who calls himself one of the best compare. And then I actually invited him to compare one of our programs, Tell Us we did. And then the way he did it wasn't really as impressive that I thought, right? Because I think people use online brands, but they don't build on public speaking. So how do you monetize public speaking? You never have to invest in your brand, right? It is when you've invested in your brand that you can now place a demand on the skill. So I think public speaking is just like every other skill. It is when you place value on yourself, and then people will place value on the skill, right? So, for example, there are times that I public speaking is a very flexible stuff, because as a public speaker, you can also double as an MC. Sorry, compare. Let me use that. You can double as one. Oh, sorry, a call came in. So you could double as a lot of things that has to do with you speaking. It depends on how professional you are and how diversified you are in the area of public speaking. So number one is building your brand, and then number two is sorry, please. So a call
Hello,
came in.
David.
I'm trying to get. Okay, I think I'm back. A call came in before. Really sorry about
Okay.
that. Okay, so I said you also I think people need to also have a very like a specific price list and something detailed, right? It's part of building a brand. But when people reach out to you to say, okay, I have this event coming up, let it not be like it's on that instance that you're giving them a price. Sometimes it could be a website. Sometimes it could be a Google Doc form. Sometimes it could be as easy as a Gmail, an automated Gmail when you already ask for their response. Because I think part of the things I've learned yeah, in public speaking is don't expect people to always know what to do. Like I've learned that the hard way. I've usually gotten invitations. I was like, this person invited me. This person is sure. I took my transport. I went there. I was done. They told me, God bless you. And then you will hear from us. And then I got home and today I've heard from them. That was because I assumed. So it is one thing to have a price structure. To say, okay, if you want me to speak at a virtual event, this is the price tag. If you want me to speak at a physical event, I charge this per hour or I charge this per this thing. This is if it's within Lagos, this is the price. If it's outside Lagos, I do not travel by road. I only travel by flight or there's a train based on insecurity. So I think when you have all of these things, you're not making instant decisions because sometimes setback can influence our decisions. Sometimes when you so like when someone is broke, it is easier for them to give crazy bargains that are very unrealistic. And then after you've given such bargain, you be like, you actually charge 10,000 for speaking engagement. My God. And it's because you literally needed to sub at that moment. And then you felt like, okay, I wouldn't just want to lose this day. But when you have something that you've done before coming on board, you could easily automate those pricing. So number one, like I said, I think it's building your brand. Number two is having an automated price list. And number three, it is building connections because the truth is that the people who would invite you to speak at events, right? You must clearly define what kind of event you want to speak at. You must clearly define what are my target audience. So that also boils down to the fact that there are certain invitations you must decline because if you start choosing to speak everywhere, your key markets would miss you out. So for some time, for example, if you invite me to come speak in a relationship program, I would decline. I'm even single, so what do I want to speak about? If you invite me to speak, so there certain, if you invite me to speak in an affiliate marketing program or a digital marketing program, I would decline. Even if it's a physical program, even if it's to pay me more, I would decline. If it were to be a panel session and I get a random answer, I might give my own suggestion. But as like a speaker, there. So I think it boils down to clarity. Clarity. Okay, this is where my areas of strength are.
Mr. David, so what programs do you speak at then?
Okay, so personally for me, I speak. There are four P's that I measure myself on personal development. But the way I define my personal development, it's personal leadership, personal branding, public speaking, and personal finance.
Okay.
So that's how I believe encompasses personal development. And then yeah, recently I'm also adding tech to it because definitely I'm also full time into tech. But in the area of personal development, those are the four because I feel these things are interwoven. Personal development to me comes with building an holistic individual. So it would be unfair that this individual is becoming a leader, but this individual does not have to brand the leader he is inside, outside to the world, right? Or that this leader has a good brand, but is broke. So I feel there are certain things that connect the dots to personal development, and these are the four P's that I've mentioned. That's personal development, personal leadership, public speaking, personal finance, and personal branding. So I think if an individual gets these four things, connected, then it's the foundation. So for example, I won't honor invitation to speak at complex financial, maybe quarter earnings, all of these complex financial topics because I know I'm not yet into that. But no, the basic personal finance principle is basic public speaking, personal branding, and personal leadership. Those are my four areas that I measure on.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Can you give us tips on how to be better public speakers? Like tips on how to be
Okay,
better.
okay. I think when it comes to think about public speaking, so one of the things I will tell people is, first of all, everything you believed about public speaking, just do away with it. Because if you are not good in public speaking, it shows that the things you believed about public speaking are wrong. In the words of Apostle Sema, he would say that if you're not getting some kind of results, it means that the things you have known about that subject matters are either wrong or inferior. So if you are not good in public speaking and you feel you know some certain things about public speaking, I think it's first of all required that you unlearn a lot of things that you've known. So then you start the learning and then start the learning. So number one tips I would give is that public speaking is a game of consistency, right? Public speaking, there's nobody that goes to become an effective public speaker overnight. It's a
Yeah.
game of consistency. I'm talking about consistency. I'm talking about more about rehearsals than even physical engagement. There's a place of personal rehearsals, and this is what a lot of persons do not get to know. So, for example, I rehearse more personally than see mostly when people come into speaking form too. I already have an idea of what to speak because I've done these rehearsals over and over again. So I think when it comes to public speaking, rehearsals is the number one key. So when I talk about rehearsals, there are two forms of rehearsals: impromptu rehearsals and the normal rehearsals. The impromptu rehearsals is when you just give yourself an instant topic to talk about. Even you that give yourself the topic, you're not pre-informed on what you wanted to give yourself. You just feel like, okay, let me talk about personal development in relationship, and then you just give yourself 5 minutes to render a speech about it. And then you could also say the next form of rehearsal is okay, I will be speaking on personal branding. So you do your research and everything, and then give yourself 5 minutes to present. So that is one. And I would really tell you, record yourself while rehearsing. I would have loved to say practice with your mirror, but I would say practicing with your mirror is more for professionals. Because if I'm as a professional, when I practice with my mirror, I'm able to identify my flaws. I'm able to identify my facial expressions. But for somebody who is a beginner, they can't identify these things because that's why they're learning. So I would really say record yourself, get in front of a screen and record. So what happens is that you could share those recordings with a professional. Even if you have to pay someone, it's okay, help me analyze this video, point out the errors that you see, and then give me suggestions on how I can improve. So I would really say record yourself while rehearsing. And then when it comes to public speaking, it is what you say and how you say it. What you say is as important as how you say it. So I know you have a good message, but how are you saying it? So when I talk about how, we're talking about your mannerism, the gesticulation, your voice tone, right? So we have, for example, if you notice you have been speaking, my hands have always been moving, and then sometimes my voice goes up and then it comes down.
Yeah.
So I think if we speak in rhythm, it flows in. If you observe that music, somebody can literally sing a song from the beginning to the end, but cannot really remember a 30-minute sermon in church after service. And it's because music are rhythmic. Humans tends to buy into melody. So sometimes when you speak in intonation, you communicate this rhythm to them. So, for example, if you observe some of the best speakers or some of the best speech we've remembered are rhythmic speech. Let's even talk about Martin Luther King. I have a dream. It's rhythmic. Oh, I have a dream. That my tune, no, it's the rhythm, and then everybody's like, oh, everybody is flowing because it's rhythmic. So most
Yes.
of the best speech, even the guys who use public speaking to do evils, the like of Hitler, for example. Hitler is one of the best public speakers I've studied, and he's also rhythmic. Yeah, Hitler is one of the best published. People hate Hitler, but as a professional, I study both the good and the bad and the ugly because I want to learn from all of them. If this person
Yeah.
did this so good, like get an entire nation to support him, then this guy is worth studying. So I also talk about when it comes to public speaking, I talks about how the way you act, what you speak, is one key thing that a lot of people do not know about public speaking. Every public speaker should be a professional actor. Like literally, if I'm talking about something that I want to penetrate into people emotionally, the way I speak will not be this loud. There's a way I would put my voice, and I might even sound like I want to cry. I might even sound like I want to cry, and and then you people start feeling goosebumps all over their body, right? It is intentional. People who do this is intentional. It's not doesn't just come by magic. It's intentional. So all professional public speakers are actors. And then I tell people your first 10 seconds is your giveaway. If you miss
Mm.
your 10 first seconds, it becomes harder for you to recover over time. So, for example, as a public speaker, my first 10 seconds is where I get to impress my crowd. Because you see, the moment people pick up their phone to start whatever they want to do online, after you climb on stage, just know that it will take a miracle to get the attention back. So, for
Yeah.
example, I used to prop a lot. I remember in the public speaking competition where I came third, what I did was I wore boxer on stage. There's no way you would not fix your attention on me. I wore my trousers, but I also wore boxers. And then questions start flooding in. So there are certain things I give people five. I say number one is that you ask a question, and then ask a question that you know the people you're asking knows the answer. So when they answer, it makes them feel proud and intelligent, but not questions that are too easy that they feel like, oh, is this person taking me for a fool? So it's a balance, right? If you're asking them a question they don't know, you should have a good point for asking them that question they don't know. Otherwise, they will cut you off. You feel like you are trying to insult our ignorance, you are trying to amplify our ignorance. Number two is storytelling. Your storytelling skill must be sharpened. Number three is prop, like I said. Number four is statistics. What statistics do you have to capture? See, if you can get the first 10 seconds, the next 2 seconds become the next 2 minutes rather becomes easier. And once the first 10 seconds is gotten and the next 2 seconds has been gotten, it is easier for it to flow. It is easier because they now trust you with their attention and they can literally turn off their data to listen to whatever they want you have to say. So when I tell people, if you want to grow in public speaking, after you've rehearsed, you must know your onion. You must understand that I have my message, right? My message is key, 50%. But how I communicate my message is also another 50%, right? And if the pass mark is from 70% upward, meaning that as your message, so for example, there are some people you listen to, you know this person is splitting fire, but you're falling asleep.
Yeah.
So it's not because what they're saying does not make sense, but the way they say it, it's not enticing. Let's go look at Nelson Mandela. If you listen to Nelson Mandela, you know this guy is a professional public speaker. There's a way they communicate what they say. So, for example, when somebody's talking about carrying a baby and they put their hand posture like this, so you know that, oh, this person is talking about carrying a baby and then their hand posture is supporting it, right? Or when I'm
Yeah.
saying, oh, vision, you must be able to see into the future. So you could see expressions like this are giving people the
Right.
idea, okay, I'm going to see into, yeah. So your body, your hands are there. See, when it comes to public speaking, all your body speaks. Your head,
Yeah.
your eyes, your mouth. And then when people tell you, look at the head of people, it's a lie. Look at their eyeball to eyeball. Intimidate them because see, if you are intimidated by your audience, it kills your own your self esteem. But when you look directly at your audience, you give them that impression that hey, me, I'm not afraid of you. I will tell you my mind. So it gives them that impression like me, I'm here to tell you my mind. And then if to some of them that expect you to be intimidated, you'll be like, who is this person that is not intimidated by my presence? Okay, let me listen to what he has to say. So your eyes needs to communicate, your mouth needs to communicate, your hands needs to communicate, your legs needs to communicate. You can't be in a position and you're doing all these things. You must move, right? So it's even funny that if you're talking about something about running, you could actually run on stage, so people can understand that you mean business. So that's public speaking. Public speaking is fun to me because it allows me to express myself in full and let people know that I'm an awesome actor, but just that I'm not shooting for Hollywood. I'm shooting to inspire and impact you, right? So I'm shooting live demonstration and then I'm doing this to really impact you. So I think that's what I have to say about public speaking.
Wow, that's you've said a whole lot. Like you've given a whole masterclass. I wish every young person can watch this video. Like it's very, very important to me that every young person gets their hands on this particular episode of the Youth Spotlight. Please, please, and please tag your friends, okay? Tag your friends to watch this video. Tag at least 10 people. Click the share button. This video needs to go viral if we are being honest, because what they are even sharing here today is so mind-blowing. So keep tagging people, okay? Tag at least 10 people to come and watch this video and click on the share button. Click on the share button. If you have any public speaking engagements to attend anywhere, I'm sure you can always come back and watch these tips that Mr. David has shared with us. They are very, very powerful. We are not even going to deny that. They are very, very powerful. Mr. David, have you had any professional experience, any professional training as a public speaker?
Okay, yeah, definitely. I think I spent my 2021, 2022 attending, attending trainings that I could land these certifications in public speaking. Currently, I work for a public speaking academy. Currently, I work for a public speaking academy where we train people on becoming better orators. I think, now I told you about winning, being part of the winners in the public speaking competition, right?
Yeah.
So part of that, what it did was I got into the team, and also that gave me certification in public speaking, because before the competition we were trained, and after the competition we were also trained in series of trainings on public speaking. So I think that was why I got most of my professional certifications on public speaking. But most of the things I still later got to learn about public speaking were self-taught. I know, for example, I watched Visit and Bakwayo a lot. The guy is just so much. So I watch some of these top guys. I study some of the best in the world. I go to their teachings. I go to everything, and then these are over time. I've learned it, like it has become natural to me that when you just wake me up to speak, even when I'm saying rubbish, I say it so well that you believe it. No, even though I won't say rubbish, but that's the power of public speaking. That you could actually present a lie to people and then they will buy it as truth. So that's how bad actors come in. But that's it about public speaking.
Mm. Yeah, you're so good. Like you are so so good, and it's amazing to see.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, praise Ohanwe. Please tell us what would be the next question now? If you had to start from scratch, right? If you had to start from the beginning, let's say you lose everything that you have now, God forbid, how would you build back up as fast as you can in less than 1 year?
Hmm.
Thank you so much. I don't know, can you still hear me?
Sure, I can still hear you clearly.
Okay, wonderful. If I didn't like 30 seconds to laugh because this question it is well. Okay, so if that were to happen, I wouldn't want to say it with my mouth, but first of all, it starts by the first thing you're going to have to do is to recenter your mind, basically. And this is not just about losing everything you have. It's about how bad things happen to everybody, right? No matter how much you want to pray about it, no matter how much you want to fast, bad things happen to everybody, right? But in 2020, was that 2020? Yes, during the COVID, I went through a program, and that was like in fact, it was one of the very first programs that I went through online, right? And it was called School of Influence with Edirin Edewo. Right? One of the things that she did to us in School of Influence was to show us the power of the mind. And I cannot forget that teaching. There was one of the modules of the program, because it was not a class, it was like a group coaching. So in one of the programs, she taught us what is called mindset revamping, right? And what we were taught then is how you perceive the situation can make the entire difference between the outcome you get, right? So let's say you have this situation, you've lost stuff, or something bad has happened to you. Yeah, there are two approaches to that. Number one, you can sit down in your house and cry and stay for a very long time without taking any action to get yourself out of that situation. Or you can choose to look at that situation as a learning moment for you. You can choose to look at that situation as an opportunity for you to move to your next level. It doesn't even have to be, let me say it again, it doesn't have to be as dramatic as waking up and having the experiences of Job in the Bible where you lost every single thing you had in your life, right? It could be anything you did not foresee happening. But it starts by thinking about it in the right way. So one of the experiences I shared in my printed book, Digital Products Mastery, I don't have any copy around me here, is an experience I had some years ago when I moved into a new house. Now, it's not as dramatic as losing everything one had, but I had just made a very serious payment. Moving houses is not cheap anywhere, but there are some places that is very expensive. So I had just done a lot of expenses, right? Multiple six figures. I had moved into the house. It was not up to 2 weeks, my dear. I discovered that I had paid to. So all the money I paid was just a waste. I lost every single dime of that money. And the funny part was that I had 72 hours to pay back all that. And the money I paid, it took me about 3 to 4 months to put it together. So just think about the size of that money. And my landlord was standing in front of my house telling me that I had 72 hours to find that money or get thrown out of a house I had moved into less than 2 weeks earlier, right? So what did I do? It still comes down to the mindset and how you interact with what life throws at you. I didn't have the time to even process the pain I was going through. Sometimes our problem is that we spend too much time grieving instead of thinking of solutions, right? So something happens to you, and instead of thinking of a solution, you are there crying, Jesus, why me? Why me? If not you, who, sir? You are the one that is strong enough to handle that. So what did I do? I didn't even have the time. See this board behind me. It's not, this is not story. This board has seen things in my life, right? As soon as the man finished saying what he was saying outside, that was my landlord saying I had 72 hours. I came here. I didn't have the time to think about the money I had lost. This is a lot of money. I had to stand in front of this board and I came up with a product launch plan instantly. Now, this comes back again to having skills. It's good to look good. I like to dress well. If you know me very well, I love to look good, right? It's good to look good. It's good to have amazing gadgets. It's good to leave the part. But as you're leaving the part, make sure that you have the substance. Don't be that person who is always buying Bone Street, buying car, buying everything, but you have not taken out time to invest in your mind. I'm coming back to that story. What delivered me that time was not the property I had in my house. It was the things that were inside this head, right? So when I was there, I just came in. As soon as he was done shouting outside, I came straight back into my house, came into this the studio part, and I went straight in front of this. I came up with a product launch plan immediately, a product marketing plan. And that day, as I was standing, I started, thank God, I already had the skills. I had the skills, Facebook ads, I had the skills, products creation, digital products monetization. That day, I started the marketing. You won't believe that the money that took me 3 months to raise, I was able to do it in less than 72 hours. And that was how God saved me from that imminent danger. Right? So are there lessons from this? Number one, it matters how you see these things that life throws at you, right? Now, because I have been through this multiple times, I've been able to help so many people replicate these results in their businesses, get even way better results. People go through my programs and their testimonials are everywhere. Because what? I'm not just off to learning something from Google. I'm experiencing it. I'm putting it into action, and I am what's it called now? Modifying the processes, right? I'm learning and I'm able to teach people. Okay. So look at it this way. If I didn't have that experience, I may not have known that it was possible to raise the money that took me 3 months to raise in 72 hours. I may not have been stretched to think, because in that period, I had to do crazy things. That was my first time of exploring influencer marketing. That was my first time of trying different kinds of ads that I did not know I could run. Why? Because life had pushed me into one corner like this. It was either fight back or go home. I have many instances of these things that I've just shared with you. Periods where you're just not planning for it and a big curveball is thrown into your face. So it's not just enough to sit down and keep moaning over the things that you could have had. It's important that you know that, okay, it has happened like this. What can I do moving forward? Okay? So let's assume that I lose everything that I had. Well, I'm going to cry. No offense. Now, I'm not trying to throw away your feelings and your emotions. They are very valid. Feel your pain, cry your tears, do whatever you want to do. Sleep if that's what helps you get through stress. But please, by all means, make sure that you are moving forward. Again, don't forget what I said. Everything can be taken away from you, but you see what is inside here. It doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. I was going to say business-wise, right? So you tell us how to build our businesses back up from scratch. But I guess you already answered the question anyway. They can take away whatever business structure you've already built, but then they can never take away the skills that you acquired along the way. They can never take away your experiences. So that also answers the question. How about you, Mr. David? If you had to, let's say your business shuts down, something happens, how would you be able to build up everything from scratch?
Okay. Okay. To me, I would say personal branding is a cheat code to this, right? If you've built a brand that is a strong brand, I would say starting all over again will not be as starting when you started in the beginning. Um,
Yeah.
Well, for example, Meta launched Thread. We all know of Thread Fever, and then in 1 week it was approaching 100 million, signups. But the truth is that Meta leveraged on existing brands, so we could say Thread was starting all over again because it was a totally new social media, right? But there they have built Facebook, they've built Instagram, they've built WhatsApp, and then others also that some of us might not know about. So I think when you build a brand, Donald Trump said this. He said that if I go broke today, that give him time, he will become a billionaire again. He will become wealthy again. And the reason why he was able to say that because he knows the level. Okay, imagine Donald Trump comes to pitch to you, Mr. Praise, and then Donald Trump comes to tell you, "Oh, I have this real estate idea, property that I want to buy, and then I need 100 million from you, and you have 100 million. Would you not invest in Donald Trump?" Certainly, you would invest in that thing Donald Trump has because it is Donald Trump. Everybody knows Donald Trump as a mogul when it comes to real estate. So I think when you build a brand, just like what you talked about in Mr. Tony Elumelu, no, you could literally do anything, and then people do not have to fight with that trust again because you know you they trust your own personal brand. So I think for me, one of the most significant factor that has to do with bouncing back again has to do with the pre-existing brands that you built. So that's why people lose their Facebook account, for example, and then they open a new one, and in 24 hours a year, oh, I've gotten 5,000 followers, right? It's not because they've had people know them. So for you to know that, oh, this person is back online, those guys will still come back for you. So if somebody who has bought your course before and they know the value that you add, and then you happen to bad, and then you happen to with and then you're back again with something new. This same set of persons will still trust you to buy again because they know what you stand for. So I think branding is one. I would say branding is a cheat code. And I would say okay. So secondly, I would say innovation. Um, Critical thinking and innovation, right? Because if you do average things, you will get average results. So if I'm
Mr. David, can you hear me?
okay, I can hear you now. I don't know. Someone was just calling me up. Okay, I think I'm back now. Okay,
Okay.
so I was saying that if you do average things, you will get average results, right? So if I'm starting all over again from scratch, I would want to ask myself, what can I do differently? How can I come in differently that would mark a difference in what I have come to do? So I would say the place for critical thinking, creativity, innovation, and
We are still here, everyone. Let's just take a while until our guests rejoin us, right? They are going to come back shortly, just very shortly. Before that, let's see what's happening in the comment section. We still have everyone here. If you are still here, comment I am here in the comment section. Okay, comment I am here in the comment section. They're going to be joining us very, very shortly. Very, very shortly. If you can still hear me, say I can hear you in the comment section so I know that we are still good to go, right? Let me know that you can hear me in the comment section. While we wait for them to join us back, let me use this very golden opportunity to tell you about the leadership certificate course, the public speaking certificate course, and the human resource certificate course that is being offered by Jimmy Padre University. So let's say that you are a business owner, you are interested in learning leadership skills, how to lead your organization, you are a company founder, you are a CEO, or you just lead whatever small group you are leading, right? And you want to learn leadership, then you definitely need to get on board the leadership certificate course and get certified as well. After the course, you don't only go away with the knowledge, you also go with the certificate. There is also something for human resource managers, people that want to learn how to manage companies, corporations, right? You want to learn how to manage staff. We all know who human resource managers are for companies. They are like the brains behind the companies. They are in charge of employee management, hiring and firing, etc. So if that is something that you want to go into, you want to become a human resource manager for corporate companies, big law firms, big tech companies, etc., then you definitely want to get on board. Sign up for the human resource management certificate course offered by Jimmy Padre University. Okay, it is going to be very instrumental. For such professions, you need certifications and not just anyhow certifications. If you want to be a human resource manager, you need certification from a global platform. And of course, Jamie Pajol International is that kind of global platform. We don't only have a presence in Nigeria, we also have a presence in Canada. Lastly, we have the public speaking certificate course. If you want to learn public speaking, you want to hone your skills, you want to learn how to make presentations, how to combine what you already do with public speaking, and then probably make it another side hustle of yours. Then you want to get on board the public speaking certificate course still offered by Jamie Padre University. The importance of all of this is that aside getting the knowledge, you have a certificate from a global platform that you can present anywhere and it's going to be acceptable. Okay, so ensure that you get on board these courses and get trained in all of this, in leadership, get trained in public speaking, get trained in human resource management. Okay, thank you so much, Stephanie. Stephanie says she's still here. And Mr. Praise is here as well. He says he can hear us. Okay, beautiful. And the both of them, him and Mr. David, are backstage waiting to join us. Okay. I think we are good to go. So sorry about that. I don't know why you keep kicking us. Hopefully it's sorted.
My brother kicked me out. I have no idea. They blocked my camera.
Oh, okay, that's fine. You were saying something. Can you remember what that was about?
Yeah,
Oh,
you asked
continue.
about you asked about that if we have to start again. So I said the place of branding is, and then secondly, I talked about the place of critical thinking, right? So I think strategy works like magic also. So it's like, okay, let's say for example, you like Mr. Pace said in the beginning, you've clearly defined your goal, you've defined the things that you're able to achieve, right? So definitely if you're back, you cannot build the way you've always done because things must have changed by that time. Before you had an existing brand that you leverage on, even without much strategy, you get much result. But now you're starting all over again. So you must now learn to think like an underdog. You must learn to think like a startup, right? And underdog and startup, they leverage on two things: critical thinking and speed, right? So you must learn to now take speed as an advantage because whatever you want to do at this point, so fast before others start implementing because now you are starting and you're starting at least smaller than you used to be. So due to the market that other persons could just easily steal and replicate and nobody would know you did it. But there's a certain brand where you've built your brand that if you start something, even if other people choose to duplicate it, everybody knows that you started it. But because you're starting all over again, speed becomes your second brother.
Yes.
You're implementing new strategy, you must be able to go with speed. Like what is said about is choosing to now run ads, employing influencer marketing, right? Because at that point, he needed urgent results. And then if he were to just do the organic thing that he has always done, it would have the timing to which he would get the results, the ROI that he got would have not been the timing he did. So I feel at that point when we are starting all over again, sometimes it's cool to actually put off the old shirt and then put in something new. I've had that experience. I've had to build from scratch. 2020, I had to build from scratch. 2021, rather, my Facebook, Instagram got hacked. Thousands of followers lost. I had to start all over again. But it was also back to, okay, then I wasn't even as popular as this. I wasn't even, I had big, I had the metric, I had the numbers, but I wasn't building a brand. I was just building for following sake. I was in this follow for follow, like for like. These things were things kind of then, and then you have large followers, but it's not strong in the branding. And then I have to start all over again, but this time with intentionality. And so I would really say number one is building a brand that is strong, that even without any pre-existing structure, your brand, when the name becomes an household name, that once you say, oh, Abu David is back on Facebook, I'm going to follow him up. That's very key thing. And then number two, that strategy and speed, because definitely now you're an underdog. You have to think like an underdog. And then I think if you leverage these two things, it will really go a long way.
Yeah, the branding thing you said makes a lot of sense. Just like what happened to Mr. Tunde not like a few days ago. Like the sharing was just So branding is super important, and relationships as well. He had to leverage on the relationships he already had to get his followers back up. I think he had over 1 million followers in under like 24 hours, and that's like really impressive. Okay, Mr. Praise, can you tell us about mentorship? Do you have mentors, and what role are they playing in your life?
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Do I have mentors? Yes, I do. What roles are they playing in my life? We'll get there. So the thing is, I'm both in the middle. I have mentors, and there are people that I am not mentoring. I like to use that word because mentorship is a very big word. It's a very big deal, right? When people come to me and say, oh, I love the work you do, you inspire me, can you mentor me? I usually tell them the same thing I tell my clients, be what? Calming down. Let's be sure that you understand what mentorship means, right? So the thing is, where am I going to with that? Most times we take mentorship to be, oh, this person is going to adopt me, right? I have to live in the shadow of this person. They will have to be checking up on me every day. They will have to be calling me every week. But do you know that you can be mentored from afar?
Definitely.
Yeah. Now, I have mentors that are closer to me, people that I answer to, people that I'm very closer to. But there are people that are mentoring me from wherever they are. I may not have even met, maybe some of them I've met them only once in my life, twice in my life, but I judiciously follow them up, right? There are pages on this Facebook, for example, that I must check. No matter how offline I am, I must come and check what is going on there at least once every day, right? And what is the role of mentors in my own life is that they have shortened my journey, right? They have made it easier for me to get results in what I do. For example, my coach says something. She says, it's a waste of mistake to make the same mistake as somebody has made before. It's just a waste of, like, why? Why did the person now make it, right? Experience is the best teacher, but it does not have to be your own experiences. And that's the beauty of having a mentor, okay? So in summary, I'm trying to say this. When we talk about mentorship, it does not have to be that one person who now calls you and tells you, okay, sit down. The person will now sit down. I say, from today, I am your mentor. I will be your mentor until you go to be with the Lord. It doesn't really have to be that. Mentorship starts from you as a person seeing the need to be trained by someone who is more advanced than you, and also deciding that you're going to submit yourself to them, right? Now, let me tell you something. Most times, the people that would eventually become your mentors will not accept you at first. I learned that practically. Most of the people now that have invested a lot in my career and business growth till today did not, in fact, when I was talking at first, they were doing like they were not seeing me. right? But I had to push through. Many of them I had to push through and push through and push through before the thing is that these people that you're calling mentors, they are very busy, right? For example, imagine Sir Jamie now, Sir Jamie Pajo, somebody in Nigeria, he's in Canada, somebody shouting, Sir, come and mentor me. He's very busy, right? You have to find your way to connect. Now, one of the ways to get to mentors, I don't think this is part of the question, but I need to drop it, is connecting your skills to their needs, right?
Yeah.
Connecting your skills to their needs. My coach right now, how did I connect with her? She had a need back then in 2019 or 2020. And I knew how I carried that need on my head, right? To make sure that it worked. I would travel out of town to go and attend her events, volunteer. It was not easy. It was not convenient. The thing is that many of us, we want mentors, but we want mentors at our convenience. It's not the job of the mentor to mold himself to your own schedule. It is your job as the mentee to fit into the mentor's whatever they want, right? Mold, okay? So what am I saying in essence? Yes, mentors are necessary. I have them in different areas of my life. Spiritual mentors, I have finance mentors, I have career mentors, I have corporate mentors, I have business mentors, right? In different areas of my life. But I'm trying to make a point here. You don't have to sit down one place and wait for the day that somebody now brings a contract with a lawyer standing by the side. Thank God that Success is a lawyer. She will now stand at the back and you will now sign contracts for you to know that this person is your mentor. Sometimes you will have to learn from afar. There are some of your mentors that you may never meet in life. Let me give you another example. Many people that go through my programs comment about how much of an amazing teacher I am, right? It wasn't always like that. I learned the art of teaching by observing mentors. One is a very popular pastor. Another one is a very popular social media influencer on this Facebook. I'm not sure I am at liberty to mention names, so I'll just keep it away, right? I learned how they talk. Now, how did I learn teaching from the pastor? Beyond shouting under the anointing and receiving, shouting amen every time he was praying, I learned how he spoke. I learned how he spoke, right?
Yeah.
I learned how he spoke. I learned how he gesticulated on stage. I learned the art of diplomacy in speaking from him. Now, this is he wherever he is. In fact, he's in Abuja, right? Me, I'm in the East, but I am learning, I am being mentored over that distance. Another example is the business influencer that I talked about. She's a woman. I've attended so many of her classes, right? And in class, I'm not just coming there to catch the rema of the class. I am coming there to learn how she's teaching. So let me also say this, for those of you that pay for courses and you go through the course only once, any course you go through only once, you have not learned everything that you can learn from it. Let me say it again. Any course you go through only once, you have not gotten everything you can get from there. So let's get back to the woman's case. I buy her programs a lot. As far as I need it, I jump in, right? The first time I'm coming to learn like everybody. After I'm done the first time, I am coming back again. I will settle down. This time around, I'm not just there to learn, I'm there to observe. Okay, why did she move her voice the way she moved it? Why wasn't she shouting when she was buttressing this module? It was there that I learned how to actually create slides for my presentations. When I started my online coaching business, my slides used to be cluttered. I would pack like 30 pictures, put on the same slides, very tiny fonts and all that. It was by observing a mentor. She's in Lagos, I'm in the East. We've met only once in this life. It was by observing her that I learned these things. I didn't have to sit down with a one-on-one session with her. I don't know when I will have the opportunity in life, right? But by observation. So what am I saying? You don't just learn by somebody sitting down and talking to you like they are talking to their child. Sometimes you learn by observing. So don't allow the distance thing to be a limitation. Again, how do you get another mentor? Invest. You cannot get a mentor if you're an akagon person, if you're stingy. You have to invest in your personal development, invest in getting that mentor's resources. So yeah, in summary, how does the relationship with the mentor help? It will shorten your course. I cannot explain. It will make your journey faster.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Very good. In fact, you've said it all, but let me still ask Mr. David. So just in case he has any different perspective, please tell us about mentorship. Do you have any mentors? And what role is he playing in your life?
Okay, So I would say as a personal leadership coach, definitely I have my say to it. But as a person, it's quite contradictory because okay, let me say this. So in my little journey so far, just like what Mr. Praise had said, I know I've learned from a lot of persons, from afar. But having like a mentor that I've submitted on the like on a one-on-one basis, I haven't. I have spiritual father, I have coaches, I have teachers, I have these other persons. But do I see mentorship though? I see it a little more advanced. So sometimes I feel that mentorship is not just a title that I just give the title to someone to say, oh, this person is my mentor. Because I think we abuse the word mentor these days, right? You like five of my posts on Facebook, you are now coming to comment that I'm your mentor. I don't even know you. How am I your mentor? Like, please explain to me because I'm confused, right? So I think mentorship boils down. How I define mentorship is the level of responsibility that you shared, right? From you as a mentee and from the person as a mentor. So sometimes you could act as a
I'm wondering if there is kind of any new updates on Mr. David. Can you hear me?
okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I can
please
hear you
continue.
now. Was it just me?
No, it wasn't just you. I don't know why this thing keeps.
Okay.
It's not. It's not you at
Okay. So what I was saying about mentorship, I said I view mentorship different, right? Mentorship is a two by two kind of relationship. It's a symbiotic relationship. So I think mentorship was one of the most abused term in this current dispensation. You literally find people who go through five of my posts, and the next thing they are calling me their mentor. Me, I don't know you. I don't, how is the mentoring even working? Because there's no way so I think mentorship is a form of responsibility that is shared by both parties, meaning that the mentor has a certain level of responsibility towards the mentee, and the mentee has a certain level of responsibility towards the mentor. So if it's the mentee to the mentor, then it's not really mentorship. If it's from the mentor to the mentee, it's also not mentorship, right? So what a lot of people need to understand is we need to clearly define what I have, the relationship I have with this person, is it really a mentorship kind of relationship? Or is this person just a coach? Is this person just a teacher? Because when it comes to mentorship, if I choose to be a mentor to someone, it means that the success of the person becomes my success, and the
yeah.
failure of the person becomes my failure. So
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of persons doing great, right? But the reason why I have not gotten a mentor personally is because these persons, for example, like we made mention of some big shoes online, right? These persons they won't have the level of responsibility to have my matter in their hands. So,
Mm.
and there was something he said that was really strategic that you keep on going. Sometimes mentorship, the way mentorship works is it is not by application, it is by election, it is by selection rather. It's not just by application. It's not because you go to someone's DM to say, "Can you be my mentor?" and then they say yes. Then no, it's by selection. Sometimes it works when the mentor finds you and unpick you to be a mentee. And the way mentorship works is that the primary goal of the mentor is not to coach you. So that's what a lot of people do not understand. So if I do series of live sessions I teach, people say, "Oh, I'm a good mentor." I'm not a mentor to you. Right? I'm just a coach. I'm just a teacher. Sometimes a mentor might not even teach you. Sometimes a mentor might not even sit you down to teach you anything. Mostly in mentorship, the best form of learning is by observation. Because mostly mentors will not just teach you, but this is one of the key things mentors do. Mentors create the platform for you to strive. That's why if I laugh when I see people who are just starting and they need a mentor. And I say, no, you need a coach.
Mm.
Mentors do not like doing the groundwork. Mentors do not necessarily do the basic work. Mentors like when they see that you're going somewhere and they know that you that are going somewhere, you would take you 10 years to go there or 50 years to go there. So what a mentor does is comes into place and becomes the platform to which you can get to that place in 5 years. So you see, that is why I cannot choose a mentor. For example, I'm a public speaker, I'm a third person. As a public speaker, if I want to choose a public speaking mentor, I can't choose somebody that is looking for platform like I am.
Yeah.
No, that's not a mentor. The person might coach me, but that person is not qualified to be my mentor because my mentor must be. If I'm looking for, if I'm getting one show per Saturday, my mentor must be getting five per Saturdays, and then this is where growth comes in place. Mentor tells you, "Oh, Abu, I have this event. I'll be able to honor three. I can't honor two. I want you to cover for me in these two places." That's
Yeah.
more of how mentorship relationship works. So they put you in the spotlight because your success is their responsibility, and also your failure becomes also their responsibility. Meaning that if you fail, they failed, and if you succeed, they succeed. So that's why I said mentorship has to do with responsibility. It's not just an election; it's mostly a selection from the mentor, and it's not something that is tied to. It's not tied to base. Like, oh, I'm your mentor, you're my mentee. It's a lie. It will show in the work. It will show in the work. The level of responsibility that we have for each other. It will show and define the level of mentorship that we have. Right? So, like, the truth is, a mentor must have that responsibility for the people. So mentors might not necessarily give you all the time in the world, but if they choose to give you 1 hour, that 1 hour is like 10 days compressed in 1 hour. So that's why you need a coach. Coach will literally spend 1 month prepping you for a mentor for just 1 hour. So this is what a lot of people do not understand. So people go out there to look for mentors when they actually need is a teacher and a coach. So there's also a place of role model. Some people, what they call mentors, are actually their role model. So, for example, Vusi Tembakwayo, when it comes to public speaking, is not my mentor, he's my role model because I observe and I learn from him. He does not know me. He cannot be my mentor. If I say he's my mentor, he does not know me as a mentee. It's a scam. The mentor must know you as a mentee. Likewise, as in acknowledge him as the mentor. So, like I said, it's symbiotes. It's a side by side relationship. So sometimes it could just be a role model. So it could be a role model figure. And sometimes when you learn by observation from these guys, you're able to do. You're able to go to feats that would have not been possible. At that initial phase. But these guys are not necessarily mentors; they're just role models. But like I said, mentors comes in shared responsibility. There is a level of commitment that must be on ground. That I can literally go and visit my mentor even without booking an appointment with him. Because I would really tell people mentorship relationship is one of the closest relationships to being father and son. Because there's how you grow a mentorship. You guys literally become father and son. That's how I see mentorship because of the level of responsibility and commitment that is poured into that relationship. Though honor must be the mentee, honor must be the apex. You should not compromise honor, even though the mentor draws you close. You should not compromise. I would really say mentorship is more of like a professional father and son relationship. That's really I like to put it. More of like
Yeah.
that professional father and son relationship. Just that you guys are not related by blood, but you're related by vision or a desire or career or profession or whatever. But it's just that you guys are not by blood. But it's mostly that professional father and son relationship. So that's what I really want to see. That's why for me I've not gotten a mentor because I've applied for mentorship for two persons. I wouldn't mention their name, right? Both did not respond, and I will start with it. So what it told me was that these are high figures definitely because I have big guys for good things. So what it showed to me was that there were certain level of things that I need to grow and improve on, and until I go and improve on these things, it should come to a point where these guys will be able to observe and then pick me into that cycle. I've done my best by applying, but I need to grow up so they find me worthy of being an investment. Because mentorship is about putting your name on a person, on an individual. To say, okay, I've put my name on you. You can't fail me again. So mentorship is like another form of relationship. So, for example, I don't have any mentee. All the people who have reached out to me to say, come and mentor me. I'm telling you, me, I've never mentored myself, What I did was I just gathered all of them, put them in a coaching community. I told them, you guys need a coach. You don't need a mentor. Don't call me mentor. Because the moment I accept that I'm your mentor, there are certain level of responsibility I must start to take. I must start to even invest financially. I must start to invest my time, invest my knowledge. Everything that I have, I must be able to invest it in you. So if I cannot invest all of these things in you, then probably I'm not definitely your mentor then.
Yeah, yeah. You and Praise have said it all. I don't think there is any other way to talk about this mentorship stuff apart from how the both of you have said it. Now, let's quickly ask the last question so they can go and take their rest, right? We've been on this for like 2 hours plus now. Okay, the last question, Praise. If where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself, your brand 5 years from now? I think you're muted. I think you are muted. Check your mic.
Oh my God, I was muted. All these things I've been shouting since. As well, oh. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, so where do I see myself in 5 years from now? The summary is I have only three pictures that are very clear in my mind when it comes to where I see myself in 5 years from now. Now, the thing is, there are some things that I cannot just pop out publicly because they're personal plans that I have for myself. But in the next 5 years, I would have published at least 3, 4 extra physical books. In fact, all the titles are written out, most of them said the content has already started getting fleshed out. Now, what's happening in that case is that I'm just waiting for the right time.
Yeah.
And this is a thing about growth, right? There are some topics that I want to teach now. I know what I want to say, but I don't yet have the required results to teach that subject. So I hold on. I have a very personal rule that I will never teach once one thing that I've not done at least 4 times. It's a personal rule for me. Right? So that's why even in my coaching business, I'm not very quick to release courses. I'm not very quick to release books and all that. It's a personal rule. If I don't achieve a result 4 times, I'm not qualified to teach it once. So those books that I plan to release in the next 5 years, I'm just solidifying my concepts and getting better results in those areas. People should wait for me. The next 5 years, we're going to see them back to back, starting from next year, by the way. That's number one. Number two, in the next 5 years, I have a plan to have a company now that's not just my personal brand, that offers social media strategy services to our clients. Social media strategy services to our clients, which will be corporate businesses, which will be personal brands, right? Which will be career experts. So we'd have a coaching arm and then we'd have a social media strategy firm. In fact, those ones are already in works, right? And I think that's just about all I can say for now. Every other thing, you wait and see. Thank you very much.
That's really beautiful. The plans are really, really amazing, especially the book one. Like the book, I had a question of, I wanted to ask you how you are able to churn out. You have 6 books now, how you're able to write those books. But I don't think there is time anymore. So let's hold that for whenever we invite you next time, right? Mr. David, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can. Please permit me. I had to quickly go near a charging port. My phone was already almost going off. As I can hear
That's
you.
fine. Okay, so the last question, where do you see yourself and your brand 5 years from now?
Okay, so by my projections, definitely, I see myself being a force in the tech industry by the grace of God. I see myself being a major force to reckon with there. That's in tech. I also see myself in the tech being one of the few Nigerians to successfully scale a startup into becoming a unicorn. So a unicorn is a startup that is valued over $1 billion. That's a unicorn. And I see myself leading my startups into becoming unicorns. That's one. And then when it comes to the issues of impact, I see myself being a global force in the impact industry because I think all of this starts with the desires for me to, the desires for me to impact. And I see myself being one of the major impact figure, in the global web in the next 5 years. Though most of my projections that I've done personally were in 10 years. So I just have to just say this. But most of for myself, I did 10 years plan. That was 2020 to 2030. So when I actually sit down to judge on my achievement would be in 2030. So in the next 5 years, I'm just kind of giving some projections. But I feel I would be a global force. I know, not feel. I know there will be a global force by then, and also as tech platforms, tech companies that have been scaled over, $1 billion worth of valuation.
Definitely, you're going to be a global force, and we are really looking forward to marketplace. Like we are really, really looking forward to marketplace. Thank you so much. So, please, do you have
Okay.
any last words of advice so we can wrap it up?
Okay. For me, I would say that whatever you've learned, right, it will not come to fruition except it's implemented, right? So I would appreciate us to implement. And then I would want to say, okay, for those of us who live in Lagos, I have a conference coming up 4th of November in Surulere, Lagos State. And six speakers, 12 panelists in the span of 5 to 6 hours. It's been curated and everything pieced together. I think we have some of our guests from these sections, like Phil Stephen, who did for last week as part of our speakers. So I feel that if you live in Lagos, it's something that you want to attend because I know it's a lot of values we share. And then probably we get to also see physically and connect. So I don't know. I think that's because you've said a lot, and I think that's just the best way for me to just have this section up.
Yeah, thank you so much. How about you, Praise? Any last words of advice for us?
Uh, I was about to start without unmuting myself again. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so last words. First of all, I would not say my last words if I don't appreciate Sir Jamie. Thank you so much, sir, for creating this platform and building this. In fact, the work you are doing in the leadership space is super, super inspiring. Thank you so much, sir, for showing us what we can do in our different industries, right? And thank you for building this platform, the university, to spotlight young people that are doing amazing work. Thank you so much, sir. Now, my final words for everybody is that we have said a lot. It's left for you to actually go and do the work. I've said a lot. There's something I usually tell my students, right, when I'm doing any kind of program. And it is, my job is to be the coach. My job is to talk. After talking now, I will go and do another thing. I hope the fire and the rema that you have caught from here, you will be able to translate it into discipline that is required to do the work.
Yes.
Because everybody gets excited at the point of talking like this. Oh, your brain is on fire, your head is hitting. I'm a realist. I'm not a motivational speaker. As soon as you leave here now, you are going to see a TikTok video. And that will be the end. Well, I pray to not be the end for us in Jesus'
Amen.
name. So please place your hand on your chest and say this prayer with me. Say, I will put into practice everything. I know that you are laughing in your house as you're watching me now, but please say this thing with me. I will put into practice everything that I have learned today. In fact, the first step of putting into practice is watching this live stream again, because there are many things you thought you said that you think you understood that you did not understand. So try your best to watch this again and put into practice. Once again, thank you so much for having me here on the Jamie Badger University platform. I don't take this for granted. Thank you so much, Barrister Success. You are an amazing host. It was an amazing time being here. And Mr. David, thank you. Thank you all. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Praise. It was amazing having you here as well. You've shared so much, like seriously. And it's just the same thing that I said. Make sure that you go back and watch the replay of this session, guys. Don't even joke with it. Go back. There is so much to learn as a business owner. From here alone, you learn structure, you learn mentorship, you learn business growth, you learn public speaking. Like so many amazing things to learn from just this one session, and you don't want to miss it, right? I want to let them go now, but I don't want to do that without them seeing your thank yous in the comment section. So please let them know how grateful we are in the comment section. Good News says she just joined and it's been impactful. Yes, good news. Please go back and watch the replay, okay? You've missed like more than half of the show. Please go back and watch the replay. Let them know that we are grateful in the comment section. Please, guys, tell them thank you. Thank them in the comment section so I can let them go and have their rest. Okay, thank them in the comment section. We still have people here watching us. Say thank you, Mr. Praise. Thank you, Mr. David. We hope to have you again next time. Thank them in the comment section. Okay, I see Mr. David's comments. He said thank you to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Jamie. All right, thank you. Thank you so much again. Thank you for exactly, Stephanie. Thank you so much. The session has been fire. It has been very much impactful. Mr. David, you can go and have your rest now, okay? Thank you so much for joining us in this session. And thank you to everyone that has been with us till the end of this session. We so much appreciate you, and we cannot wait to have you again next time. Bye until next time. Thank you so much for joining.